How can ranged characters like the Wizard or the Demon Hunter compete in PvP against something that's tanky like a Barbarian or a Crusader? What is up, my friends? My name is Echo and welcome back to the channel. And I was thinking about the ranged classes inside of Diablo Immortal, specifically the Wizard, and kind of in addition to that, the Demon Hunter. And I was thinking about the battlegrounds, the player versus player when you're going against other players. Now, I did not participate in battlegrounds with a ranged class, but Nemo did. So we're actually watching some of his footage right now. If you want to see more from Nemo, head on over to the Scrappy Academy YouTube channel where you can find tons of videos for Diablo Immortal, just like mine, but with Nemo's flair. So he talked about how no matter how strong his wizard was, and he had a strong wizard, he's sitting at level 51 Paragon, probably a little bit higher by the end of closed alpha, and he was going into PvP and getting crushed by Barbarians and Crusaders. When you think about it, the Barbarian and the Crusader, they have so much more HP. They have the ability to take a lot more damage than something that's like a glass cannon, like the Wizard. What I mean by glass cannon is they deal a lot of damage, but they're made of glass. They're very fragile, so they can't take too much damage. So how do you actually implement them into PvP so that they can compete with those ranged classes? So of course we can start and say, if you're going with a team and you're going with a Barbarian and a Crusader on your team and you have a Demon Hunter and a Wizard behind, then as a team you can compete. You have your tanks in the front and you have your ranged characters in the back. Of course, that could work. But what happens if you would go against 4 Barbarians, if you could even comprise teams of that? That could be kind of crazy. And I don't know that the ranged characters behind would be able to do enough damage to take down or to beat down a 4-tank setup. Definitely something worth thinking about, but it is an idea for making ranged characters relevant when we're talking about player versus player, battlegrounds, or whatever they build that out to be. But what about going in solo? What if you want to play as your Wizard the way that Nemo does, and he wants to be able to go into battlegrounds, into a PvP setup, and be able to compete by himself in like a solo battle? How can he do it? What can they do to change the Wizard and the Demon Hunter class to make it a bit more relevant? Now, I've been thinking about this, and it really comes down to the range classes being able to keep that range, to be able to stay away. If you think about other games, let's use Brawl Stars for example, it has PvP, although very different than what we're seeing here in Diablo Immortal. The smaller classes that are just weak but have some good damage output, or even weak and don't have great damage output, they have the ability to keep their range. They can stay away from some of those bigger characters that can do a lot of damage when up close. So if you are able to manage your space well, you can compete. The problem is inside of Diablo Immortal, although the Wizard and the Demon Hunter do have their evading skills, they can teleport, or they can use that skill the Demon Hunter does that swings away and attacks on the swing. The Crusader and the Barbarian, well, they also have skills to quickly get to you, which is great for the campaign. It works out fantastic. Elder Rifts, Challenge Rifts, it's amazing for that as well. But in battlegrounds, in PvP, if they have a skill to get close and you have a skill to stay away, and they both charge at approximately the same time, at the end of the day, that tank is going to make its way closer to you, and it's going to be able to deal that damage, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it, because once you get a Crusader or a Barbarian hopping on top of you, slamming down, you're kind of done for. It's going to be very difficult for you to stay away. Now, some other things can be done, such as freezing skills. If the Wizard had a skill that could freeze you in space and then you could evade to gain your space again, it would definitely take some skill from the person playing the Wizard class. It would take some practice, which is fine. I actually think that that's a good thing. If we could have our melee classes as the more just jump in there and slam on your buttons and beat things down type player, like myself, and then you could have the ranged class, someone that has to really focus on a bit more skill, evading, being precise, really using those skills perfectly and combining them together with the general attack as well. I think that could be the answer. So we have kind of a two ways to fix this. One being offering skills that allow the Wizard and the Demon Hunter to stay far away, and some other talent skills that are going to allow you to slow down those tanks. So let's picture this. Let's all just imagine you have a wizard going in and there's a barbarian in front of that wizard. The barbarian is ready to pounce on top and to drive its swords or its axes down into the head of the wizard. I know it sounds brutal, but that's what happens here in Diablo Immortal. If that were about to happen and the wizard were able to freeze or even a slowing effect, something that's maybe more serious than any skills that it has right now, a more enhanced freeze or slowing effect, and then evade, then it's going to allow for a wizard class to learn the skill, to really practice the craft of slowing down opponents that are coming at them and be able to compete. Because if you can't keep the opponent far away, if you can't evade in an effective manner, even if over time you get whittled down, you're never really going to be able to compete. Now, with that wizard class, with utilizing skills in combination, making sure you time them properly, that is all going to take a lot of practice, which in my opinion is good. So again, as I mentioned a moment ago, if you got someone that just wants to button mash and just do massive amounts of damage as a barbarian or as a crusader, that's what I like to do inside of the game. That's how I like to play action RPG, dungeon crawlers. I like to just smash the buttons and do a ton of damage. That's going to be for players like that. But then if you have someone that really wants to play that range skill, not just in the campaign, not just in Rifts, but really that next level PvP that we're talking about, I think that if we give them the tools that they can master, so they can master the craft of wizardry the way that Nemo would like to. He would. He just doesn't have the tools yet to do it. He doesn't have those skills that we're talking about. But if those were available, and it took time and it took practice, but once mastered, they could compete with these heavier, tankier classes that are, you know, used by button mashers like myself, then we could have some solid PvP. Someone that just jumps into a wizard class and decides to just try it out, they're still going to get smashed by those tanky classes. The Crusader's going to hop on the horse and run right at you. But once you put in the time and the practice and you really learn the class like many people are going to do inside Diablo Immortal, then that PvP is going to be more of a viable option for you. You can gain some of those wards and you can really enjoy that experience of PvP. And that's assuming that they don't bring in some type of powerless PvP like I talked about the other day. You mind showing them that video? Just the PvP powerless one? Yeah, thanks. So if you were to check out that video, you'll know that my true answer to fix all of this is a battle royale mode where you drop in with nothing and you gain it from taking down demons, or a 5v5 deathmatch style where you build loadouts and it's all based on what the game offers, not what you have grinded. So what do you guys think about this whole concept of reworking the classes for ranged characters with slowing effects and more evading effects? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, while you're down there, there's a few things you have to do. If you've made it this far in the video, you're definitely someone that's interested in Diablo Immortal and you probably enjoyed the video. So I would appreciate if you guys subscribe to the channel and rang the bell for daily Diablo Immortal videos, because you know what? 85% of the people that watch my videos here on this channel are not subscribers. That's crazy. So subscribe if you're into it and ring the bell, because tomorrow I'm dropping another Diablo Immortal video. When that bell rings, I want you guys to come on through and say what's up in the comments. And actually, what I really want you to say in the comments is more Diablo Immortal. Guys, thanks so much for sticking around. I hope you liked my ideas and my concepts. We'll see if it's relevant. We'll see if it's worth it. We'll see if it happens. I can't wait. Remember, late November release. That's the prediction. Have a great day, guys, and be good.